Dear students and my teacher friends, Namaskar. I welcome you to the presentation lecture on Pons. Learning objectives of this presentation lecture: identify the respiratory center which is present in the pons, identify the actions of the superior olivary complex. So we are going to find out the respiratory center where it is present, and we are also going to talk about the superior olivary complex in this presentation lecture. Before that, let's have a look at Pons. So here in the figure, brain stem is shown to us, and the brain stem that we are looking at is in a posterolateral view. So brainstem in posterolateral view, and here in the brainstem, this is the pons. The name is written pons. Okay. Now this is the anterior view of brainstem, and this part, this is the pons. Okay, pons. The posterior view of brainstem. Okay. Then this is the median sagittal section, and here this is the pons. Okay. Okay. In this figure also, here you see pons, where exactly the pons is located, and the names of cranial nerves they are also mentioning, even though we are not discussing about the cranial nerves in this lecture, but anyway you can try to read these names of cranial nerves and try to prepare this name. Okay. Now in this figure, pons. Okay. This figure, pons. This is the inferior view of the brain. Okay, showing three parts of the brain: brainstem, midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. So you see the where exactly the pons is present. Okay, brainstem, pons. Okay, brainstem, midbrain, pons, medulla oblongata. Okay, so now we are starting our discussion, starting with the first point. Pons. So the pronunciation is pons, not pawns. Okay, pawns. Now pawns means bridge. Okay. So here, why they have used this term pawns? So bridge. Here we are not the original bridge. Okay, but here in the sense they have used that the pons is acting like a bridge. It is like a connecting structure between the cerebrum of the brain and the spinal cord. Okay, so for example, this part of the brain, and we know the spinal cord. So how these two structures are going to connect? So all the tracks are going to pass from the pons. So pons is the connecting link between the brain and the spinal cord. Okay, that's why the bridge, pons is also known as bridge. Now pons is a bulging region. So here you can see it is bulging out, this part. Okay, and bulging region where anterior part of the brainstem. Okay, pons is a bulging region and present on the anterior part of the brainstem, and the pons forms from part of the madan mesencephalon. Okay, that see pons forms from part of the mesencephalon. So pons originates from, it develops from the mesencephalon. Now what is mesencephalon? Mesencephalon is the embryonic part of the hindbrain. Okay, so during the development period, this mesencephalon, then it differentiate into the pons and cerebellum. So from mesencephalon, pons and cerebellum, they are differentiating. Okay, so in short, pons develops from, differentiate from the mesencephalon differentiating, and pons is formed. Okay, so this is the first point. We are discussing the second point. Now this is the second point of our discussion. See, now what is there present in the pons? Sensory and motor tracts are located within the pons, and this sensory and motor tracts, they extend through it, they run through the pons, and this tract, they connect the brain and the spinal cord. For example, over here in this figure, with the blue and red color and yellow color, we can imagine them as the track. And this track, they are, when they, for example, the track from the brain, okay, pass through this pons. So in between the cerebrum and the spinal cord, pons is present. So this track, they pass through the pons, and this track reach to the spinal cord. So we can say pons is acting like the connecting link between the brain and the spinal cord, because the tracks are traveling, they passing on from the pons. Okay, so this is the second point. Now the third point. See, now in the third point we are discussing about the middle cerebral peduncles. Now what are these middle cerebral peduncles? So this middle cerebral peduncles are transverse axon, and this transverse axon, they connect pons to the cerebellum. So here, first of all, what is this, what this figure is showing? So I'm showing you, first you see left hand side, see the brainstem, they are showing, and here the pons is shown. Okay, and this one is the longitudinal section cut away. Okay, so on left hand side, longitudinal section is shown. And now see, if if we take, if we take a cross section of pons, and if you observe under the microscope, so that cross section will be look like this. Okay, so this is the cross section of pons, and all the names, okay, all the names are important for you. Try to remember all the names. When I say try to remember all the name. That means if I erase two names, so you are in position to rewrite these names. So you are labeling, okay, the names. And here the information regarding the pawns, so you can read that information also. Okay, so we were talking about this, 1 minute. So we were discussing about the middle. So here they are shown middle cerebral peduncle, and what this middle cerebral peduncles are, they are transverse. So let me show you. For example, these are the transverse axon. Okay, these are transverse axon, and this transverse axon, what they are doing, they are connecting pons to the cerebellum. So in this figure, see, if I want to show this transverse axon over here in the longitudinal section, so this one is the cerebellum. Okay, this is the cerebellum, and here this is the pons. So in between the cerebellum and pons, transverse axon. So let me draw. These are the transverse axon. Okay, and this transverse axon, they connect pons and cerebellum, and this transverse axon, they are known as middle cerebral peduncle. Okay, so this is the third point, middle cerebral peduncles. Okay, and they are transverse axon, and they are connecting pons and cerebellum. Now the fourth point, in the fourth point we are discussing about the Pontan respiratory center. Now first, in the figure, see, this is the Pontan respiratory center present in the pons. See, the pons houses autonomic nuclei in the pontine respiratory center. So in the pontine respiratory center, autonomic nuclei is present, and this pontine respiratory center previously, so previously it was known as pneumotaxic pneumotaxic center. Earlier it was known as pneumotaxic center. Now this pontine respiratory center is a vital center, and in the medulla oblongata also respiratory center is present. That respiratory center is known as medullary respiratory center. So pontine respiratory center and medullary respiratory center together, both this center, what they are doing, so both this center, they regulates the skeletal muscles of breathing. Okay, inhalation, exhalation. So the muscle which are involved in inhalation exhalation process, they are under the control of pontine respiratory center and medullary respiratory center. So this is the fourth point, pontine respiratory center. Now the fifth point. Okay, in the fifth point we are discussing about this superior olivary nucleus. Now what is this superior olivary nucleus and what role this nuclei is playing? See, superior olivary nuclei are located in the inferior pons. They are present in the inferior pons, superior olivary nuclei, and this nuclei receive auditory input. Now what is auditory? Auditory relating to the sense of hearing. Okay, so superior olivary nuclei, they receive the sensation of hearing. Okay, they receive auditory input and also involved in the pathway for sound localization. That means from which direction the sound is coming. Okay, so we can understand that thing, that the sound is coming from this direction, so it is due to the nerve impulse reaches to the superior olivary nuclei. Okay, so this is the fifth point of our discussion, superior olivary nucleus. Now, the final point of our discussion. See, in the pons, some nuclei are present. Okay, and this nuclei, they are, so as you can see, pons also houses. So in the pons, they are present sensory and motor cranial nerve nuclei, and this nuclei, they are related with the nerves, cranial nerves. So trigeminal, abduction, facial, cranial nerves. So all these nerves nuclei, they are present, they are located in the pons. Then the nuclei of vestibulocochlear cranial nerve is also located in the pons. So we are going to look at this nuclei and the cranial nerves. So here, this figure that we are looking at, this figure is for cranial nerve nuclei in brainstem schema. Okay, so the scheme of nuclei and cranial nerve, they are showing to us. And here, as you can see, I have circled the name of the nucleus. So in the pons, you see where the abducens nucleus is present. See the location of facial nucleus, where it is present in pons. Then the vestibular nuclei. Okay, then principal sensory nucleus of trigeminal nerve, and with this nuclei the related nerve. Okay, so you see the trigeminal nerve, cranial nerve 5, then you see the facial nerve, cranial nerve 7, then the vestibulocochlear nerve, nerve number 8, cranial nerve number 8, and in this side, so here this one, trigeminal nerve. Okay, so in this figure we are remembering the exact location of the nuclei which are present in the pon, and we are also remembering the names of the cranial nerves which are related with these nuclei, okay, of the pons. Entire figure I am showing you so that you can see it properly. Okay, and in this figure, cranial nerve nuclei in brainstem schema continued. Okay. See names of the nucleus: abducens nucleus, facial nucleus, vestibular nuclei, and in this side, principal sensory nucleus of trigeminal nerve. So 4 nucleus and 4 names of nerve. Okay, so trigeminal nerve, cranial nerve 5, facial nerve, cranial nerve 7, then vestibulocochlear nerve, cranial nerve 8, abduction nerve, cranial nerve 6. Okay, these names of the nerve and names of nuclei in the pons. Okay, now I would like to show you some of the figures related to pons. Okay, now in this figure, okay, see, pons, the key for pons is shown in light green color. So here you see the name Pons. Okay, then here Pons, then in this figure cross section of Pons. So this is also a important figure for you. Okay, try to remember all the names. All the names are important for you. Okay, see, cross section from the Pons. In this figure also brainstem lateral view Pons is shown. Okay, and this is the cross section through Pons. Okay, then this figure, okay, brainstem posterior view. So yeah, with this we have completed this presentation lecture on Pons. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation lecture, and I also hope that this presentation lecture will be helpful in your exam preparation and also in your studies. My name is Manish Kosti sir. I am from Ahmedabad, India. Bye bye. Namaste.